On my mind, gotta hustle and grind. Financial literacy always on my mind. I'm stacking knowledge, no time to waste. You gotta invest smart, gotta keep up the pace. I'm reading books, learning all the tricks, studying the market, making calculated picks.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Reckless Ray Dinero, and we are back at it again with another bag talk. Today we're going to be talking about more than income. It's going to be a good episode and a very relevant one. I drop probably, I'd say we touch on this once a quarter because I'll hear something out in the wild that just kind of, rubs me the wrong way. Kind of makes me feel some type of way about something. So we got to talk about it. We got to reiterate it because I will blast this into the ethosphere ad infinitum for forever. But before we get into the discussion we're going to have today, let's go ahead and get the housekeeping out of the way. Don't forget to do the like, share, subscribe. If you're on mobile, go ahead and go down there under the video and hype the video. Don't forget to share this video because there might be some people that need a reminder that there's more than just your income in the world. Now, we're going to jump right into it. There is a growing contingent. Actually, I don't even think it's growing. It's one of those things. It's one of the trappings of the matrix that keeps the slaves being slaves. And by slaves, I mean people who have to go to work. It's a form of golden handcuffs. They think their title, their position, their income, their salary defines them. That defines their importance. It's actually who they are because honestly, if you take away said title, said income, they may not be that interesting. They may not even be that great of a person, sans what they believe to be important. And God forbid you don't value things the same way they do. But the reality of it is your income is not an indicator of financial intelligence. It is not even it can be an indicator of intelligence if you specialize in a specific skill or a specific job. But that title, that income does not make you rich. It does not make you more intelligent than other people. What you do with it does. Your results. Now, being able to have a starting point of a good salary is definitely advantageous, especially if you are trying to get to a point to where you are broken free of the matrix and you no longer have to work. It puts you in a position to where you can do things because you enjoy doing them. You can work with people you enjoy being around. You can tap dance to work every day. And I think as an employee, those are the ones that tap dance to work every day, the ones that don't have to be there. I really do. I think that level of freedom is different. You sleep different. Your stress levels are different. You're able to walk away from jobs, bosses, careers that don't serve you. It just makes a lot more sense. But these people, these slaves, these very fancy slaves, these high class slaves, and I'm going to keep saying slaves because I like it, because it stings them a little bit because they don't believe that they're slaves. But when we get to the crux of the discussion, which is how long can you not go to that job and still have the lifestyle you have? That's when people's feathers get ruffled. And that's when I have to tell them there's levels to this. Because while you may make more than me in salary, it is highly unlikely that if you factor out your parents' wealth, your significant other's contributions, if you have one, what you've been given, that you're worth more than me. You don't have they generally don't have a balance sheet. They don't know what their net worth is. They don't track those numbers because, I make over six figures. I make over, you know what? When I choose to work, I make over six figures too. The difference is my lifestyle is based around the income that I don't have to leave the house for, which means that I could stay home indefinitely. I get to choose whether I leave the house. So there's levels, and it's very interesting because these types of people really are validated by how much they make. They think it makes them better than other people. And generally speaking, I would say under normal circumstances, in everyday conversation with the lesser well-paid slaves that are in the same situation that you're in, that they have to go to work too, you probably are a little bit better than them. You might be. Who knows? I mean, based on that metric alone, I would say most likely you're in a situation where you're worth more than them because you're both probably in debt. Just somebody got a dumb degree and your degree you actually make a bag off of. Cool. But you're not capable of not going into that job. Now, you can go into the time discrepancy of, well, I get X amount of time. I can set my own schedule. All those good things. That's great. But you still got to go. You have to go. Like, let's not get it twisted. You can't not go. You can't not go. That's not an option for you. So again, there's a level of financial literacy. There's a piece that's missing. Not to mention that a lot of, well, actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and get the latest statistics on this because that's a good segue. Let's see here. So it says nearly 40 to 51% of Americans earning six figures earning six figures reporting living paycheck to paycheck. So that means and this is in your household, 40 to 51% of you who are making six figures. You're making more money than me. You're better than me. You're living paycheck to paycheck. It's interesting. It's real interesting. Let's talk about it. So, obviously, earning six figures does not make you financially literate. It doesn't make you good with money. It means you make a lot of money. That doesn't mean you even have a lot of money. It means you make a lot of money. Let's talk about it again. Doesn't mean you're worth a lot of money. It means you make a lot of money. You have no results in the financial sphere. Your education, your piece of paper, your salary is not indicative of your financial literacy. Now, me being me, specifically me, I can't speak for everyone else, but I can speak for me and I'd say the majority of people that I rock with that are on a similar journey that like to talk about money. We talk about money all the time. There's a contingent of people out here that when you throw and flaunt your salary around and think you're doing something, it's not actually impressive. When you flaunt and throw your title around and think you're being more important or better than, it's not hitting the way that you think it's hitting. It's one of those scenarios where you tell a really stupid joke or you say something really dumb and you laugh and the people aren't laughing with you, they're laughing at you. And the reason being is the only people who talk about salary are people who either don't have anything or have never been around anybody making any kind of money. And they use it to make themselves feel better than people who they perceive to be in a worse situation than them because of their title or what they think they make. Which is funny because the conversation never goes to like, let's settle out these balance sheets and see who's actually worth more, which is actually a metric that matters. It's something that, like, you know, the bank looks at. Like, that's a good metric is what you're worth. I mean, a base level metric amongst poor people, sure. Salary, your annual income comes into the question. That's fair. I can't even argue that. Like, the peasants got to compete about something. But when you talk to somebody who's financially literate and actually is true to this lifestyle, who lives out of his brokerage account, who's a dual income earner of himself that makes more than most households when you put all the numbers together, it don't hit the same. It just doesn't. It's just not impressive. Like, what impresses me are balance sheets. Like, are you worth more than me? Like, what do you own? What do you own? How much do you make passively? How long could you not go to work and still talk that talk? How are you negotiating your salary? Is it like, oh, I gotta be here, so I'm just gonna take whatever is given to me and I'll just go look for whatever's given to me that's higher, and that's the salary I take, just what's given? You don't say no. You just look for a job that's going to just offer you something up front because you're not willing to negotiate. Is that it? I mean, I don't know. But what I do know is the game that I'm playing is not a salary game. I don't care how much I make a year. And generally speaking, when I'm talking to people, I reference my passive income salary versus what I make at a W-2 if I have one at the time. Because that money is extra, because over here we have a financial system. So every dollar that comes in goes into the system, and the system buys everything. So I don't even reference W-2 income, aside from when you're negotiating it, the time that it's going to take for me to go do that instead of anything else that I want to do. Because again, there's levels. And, that's one of the things that I flex. I flex the things that I compete at, which is fair. And I get it. But like, you got to understand when somebody's talking trash to you, and like, I don't really flex and I don't really like having to do these videos, except for when someone wants to step into the lane and step into the ring and feel as though, oh, I gotta get a leg up on you. And I'm like, I'm all about competing, boo-boo. I'm all about it. I love competition at things that are measurable, at things with the definitive winner and loser. So like, if we're just talking income, that's fine, but you stepped into the financial ring. So let's talk about the non-surface level. Like, are you actually into finances? Are you actually good with money? Do you actually know about this life? You new to this or true to this? And that's a legitimate question that you got to have, especially if you're going to talk to somebody like myself who is true to this, who has done things, who shows us receipts every month. By the way, welcome to July. This actually will be dropping. We're not in July yet. We're almost in July. We're in July. Because I pre-record these. I forgot what day it was. So we're into July now. And we're just over the halfway mark for the year, and I've already plugged almost all my financial goals that I put for this year. I'm going to actually be kind of hopefully starting in. We'll see. Got a couple of more money moves to make, but hopefully rolling in to one of the last goals for this year, and then hopefully starting in on next year's goals. I actually have to put my 2027 goals down to paper now, because I've almost hit all my goals for this year financially. Fitness goals, that was roughly within the first 2 months, to be honest. But financial goals, for sure. Life goals, checked most of those off. I got to go back and reference my 2026 list, but I'm saying most of them. We're getting ready to start remodeling the house. Getting ready to get to a point to where I should be able to move the studio space. So like, the background's going to be changing, looking a little bit different. I don't know what we're going to do with it yet, but we're going to do something. It's going to be cool. And yeah, like, we're living good over here. And I am petty though. Like, so I don't like it when people try to put other people down because of assumptions that they've made about a situation and jump into weeds that they're not ready to get into. Because most people don't want to put down balance sheets with me. Most people don't want to lay all their numbers bare with me. Because that's where I actually compete. I don't care how much money you make. How much are you keeping and what are you doing with it? How much are you investing a year? What's your savings percentage? Because I give my savings percentage every month. Not for the year, for the month. And every month we are well above 70%. So we can do some quick maths on that. If you're making, and I'm going to be generous, I'll just compare, my paltry salary of under six figures. I'm not important. Who am I? I'm a nobody. I don't matter at all. But let's just compare the numbers based on what I'm doing versus what most of you are doing. So I'm just going to say, just for instance, you make $150,000 a year, and I'm going to be generous and say you're doing the standard boomer logic consideration. And then we're going to break this down beyond that. You're saving 10% a year. You're saving $15,000 a year. You're spending every other cent you make. You're at 10%. That gives you probably about 5% for the company match, and then 5% that you're just saving on your own. Okay? That's cool. That's cool. You know, $15,000 is a lot of money. I'm not even going to act like it's not a lot of money. If I see $15,000 just walk away, I'm upset, because to me, being a brokey, being a professional, lifelong brokey, who at W-2 income rate, the slave labor rate, I don't make six figures, and I haven't. I had 1 year. And then the other years that I've made six figures, it's because of what I've done. So when I say collectively, that's partially from whatever the W-2 income is, should I have a job. And then the other part is what I generate myself via my brokerage. You guys got the game on that, where I live off my brokerage. So you're doing your 15,000. So we'll take my previous employee salary. It's making $60,000. That's garbage. I was well underpaid for my skill set that I brought. You know what? We alleviated that situation by not being there. Simple. But I invested every time that came in. Every single one of them. I'm investing. I am working with and saving and putting to work 4 times more dollars than you. So where does that rest of that six figures go? Oh, well, lifestyle. You have the things. You have the things. You're going on the trips. You get to go on vacation. You get to post on Instagram all the nice stuff that you're doing that costs money all the time. Get to buy the big house right now. And that's cool. That's dope. If that's what you consider a win. But when you're going to throw your money, your salary in the face of somebody else who's saving and investing, and not just saving, because I don't believe in saving. That means all my money goes into my system, which means every dollar that comes in goes and makes another dollar, at least. And that's the person you want to flex on? So the person you want to throw your salary in their face when you're maybe saving $15,000 a year, which, based on the way that I navigate money, is nothing, because I save 4 times that every single year. And then that money goes and makes more money. And then if I work again, then guess what? Back to saving 4 times more than you on top of my money going and making money. Also building wealth that's growing and compounding. You're spending yours. You're going on the trip. You're buying the thing. You're being cool. You're being the coolest slave there is. And that's why you can't stop. You can't leave. And I understand that irks those types of people because they're trapped and they don't want to admit it. So what they do is they mask it by, instead of fixing the problem of being trapped in the first place, they elect to go, I'm just going to talk down to and dog out everybody who I believe has a title that makes less money than what I make or what I value, because I value this salary. Well, I value net worth and passive income. Those are the metrics that I compete at. And the funny thing is, those are the metrics that all the wealthiest people on the planet compete at. Not the wage slaves. Like, you work for those people. They cut your check. So going back to there being levels, like if you're doing the bare minimum, you're saving more than most people. Just understand when you're talking to most people and when you're talking to somebody who actually might know a little something about something, who built their stuff themselves, who built their lifestyle themselves. No parental money, no assistance. I don't flex on the gram the stuff that my parents bought me. I'm not out here making moves based on what my parents give me money for. And yeah, I also am doing these things without having to go get that fancy piece of paper that you had to go get to also go get this job, to not know how money works, to talk to somebody who knows how money works, and then have me make a video dogging you out about you not knowing how money works. So, it is what it is. So when I say income isn't everything, it's not. It's not. It's, can you leave? Do you have freedom? If you have not attained freedom, then free people are going to look crazy to you, like myself, because I don't have to let you talk to me any kind of way because you can't turn my brokerage account off. So I don't have to accept that. But also on the second note of it, even when people try to trip you up and hold you back, which has definitely happened because people don't like seeing people get free that are trapped. And they will do you dirty financially. They will not give you raises. They will intentionally underpay you. They will hold your money and try to slow you up that way to put you in a position of where you're needing them, not understanding that negotiation, cars, planes, trains, and automobiles exist. Once you're free, you go back electively. You don't have to go back. You don't have to go back to where you came from. You can go anywhere at that point because you can make anything because anything is extra. You can also negotiate to get more. And these people are not in these positions normally because I've never talked to anybody who's had any kind of money about salary. And they'll be like, oh, well, rich people don't want to talk to poor people about what they make. No, they don't want to. That's a poor person's conversation. Like, wealthy people do not sit amongst themselves and be like, yo, this is how much I made. It's like, this is how much the business made. And talking about their W-2 jobs. People who have money that know how money works are talking about the moves that made them more money without them having to go to work, because that is actual intelligence is moving ahead in the system that you are in. And we are in a monetary system. So like, if you're going to play the game, let's play the game. But understand, again, I am competitive and I am petty. And so like anytime anybody wants to break numbers down, I'm willing to lay my stuff bare. I already do it basically every month. You get to see, I'd say 90% of all my stuff. We talk about the moves that I made over the month. Talk about how much we made out of the brokerage account, how we living, how's it going. You get to see the debt, all of it. So I got nothing to hide. I know what my numbers are because my numbers are better than most people. Actually, let's see how many people, because I love facts. So let's go ahead and ask the great Googly Moogly. So the question we asked was, what percentage of Americans have a net worth over $200,000? And we're going to go to, according to the Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances, they say approximately 50% of American households and that's the top 50% of the median have over $200,000 in net worth. That means if you add up all your debt and assets, that's how it shakes out. Now, that's households. I have over 50. I am on the upper 50% of households. I am an individual. That's the first thing. Let's break this down to individuals. Let's see here. Does it give? Okay, it's 50% top median by age group. Yeah, they don't even break that down into individuals. But per AI for retirees, it says you should have 200,000 saved for retirement by your mid 50s. That's going to bring me as a good segue into the next part of this conversation when we're talking about income and how people save their money, because I said doing the bare minimum. So that means that out of that $15,000, that's your bare minimum, because you're doing what you should be doing. You're doing the Dave Ramsey. You're saving 10%. Everybody tells you first 10%, which is better than nothing. And I'm not disparaging that. But here's the kicker. You're putting into your 401k. You're putting into your retirement, which means that money's locked up. So like now, if you're not like 65, 70, whenever they're letting you have your money, so again, it's behind a wall. So you can't have it. So you actually don't even have that money. Like that's actually one of the funniest things ever. It's like people talk so much trash about being paper rich. And it's like, you can't use that though. Like I can take a loan against this. So now you're I borrow money for myself all the time, but like it's active money. So I pay it back and it's going into a pool of money that I can then borrow again from. But your 401k, like you really don't have access to that. Like if you need it, you can take a loan, you got to pay it back. There's a middleman involved. You're paying all these fees your whole life. And then, performance is kind of what performance is. And you got to wait till you're 65. So you're still trapped again. And all my money is accessible at any given time to be used to keep me subsisting, to keep me out of the matrix, to keep me free. And so when I do my net worth, like when we lay those things out, the next conversation we have to have is, what do you have access to? Because if you got a lot of money in your 401k, like that's cool if you're like 65, 72, 84, whenever they let you have access to, whenever the government says you can retire. Slave, you've done enough. You're probably about up out of here anyway. You can go sit down for a little bit with all that money you're not going to be able to enjoy because your knees and your body's bad and you're old and you're getting ready to go to the room upstairs. So that's the next conversation, because I'd say 80% of mine, I was like taking out the house, because I'm not going to sell. I got to have a house. I live in this house, so I can't sell it. I could leverage it still, but I can't sell it. I can't sell my house. You can't sell your house either, because you got to have a place to live too. So now we're nixing off the houses. It's most of their net worth is in their 401k in their house. So you have most of your worth, if you have a positive net worth at all, because most of you don't, are tied up in things that you don't have access to. So is that actually wealth? Is it wealth if you can't have it? Is it? You just look at the screen and you're like, I can't turn that into dollars anytime soon, but I think I'm better than you because of whatever reason. And these are the things you got to take into consideration before you talk about money with somebody who eats, sleeps, and poops money. Like, it's kind of my jam. I nerd out on it. Pretty good at it for somebody who doesn't make as much as apparently the elite. People who think that they're elite, that they're better, they're more important, underappreciated, important people out there making their six figures, having to go to their jobs that stress them out, so they can't make it through the day without mental health meds. Crazy. I don't have to take mental health meds. I don't have drinking problems. I'm just out here raw dogging life, living good, not stressed, sleeping well, resting. It's great. Taking breaths of fresh air, feeling good about it. Everything's good in my world. I honestly have nothing. I sprained my ankle this weekend. I'm complaining about that because it doesn't feel good, but it's one of those things where you walk it off. I'm a little bit older now, hurts a little bit more the next day, but you walk it off. Those are the first world problems that I have as the money's flowing in, as I'm continuing to be able to navigate my existence as I see fit on my terms. You want me off the couch? You're going to give me what I want. Otherwise, I won't get up. I just stay there sitting, existing, living well, eating well, being healthier. And so, again, just reiterating, it's the entirety of the picture that matters. Chasing the bag and getting the bag are two different things. Once you've secured the bag, it's a whole nother thing with what you do with said bag. So if you're making six figures, understand that if you're throwing that in people's faces and considering them brokies because they don't make as much W-2 income going to do slave labor as you, that is a peasant metric. Just so you know, actual people who got it don't talk about it like that. The numbers that we talk about are different. And I say we because I know people who got way more money than I do. And that's the stuff that we talk about. They're asking how I'm doing outside of my peasant wage. What have you built? How are your investments going? How's that? Hey, we saw your video that you're out of your brokerage now. How's the growth on that? What are you doing to increase the income? How is that keeping up with inflation? How does that work? It's a different conversation. as opposed to assuming that somebody just doesn't know anything. It's like, okay, like tell me you don't know about money, period, by telling me you don't know about money, period, by arguing with somebody who's got over an entire Bitcoin put away, and you're talking about salary. I make more than you. Okay, cool story, bro. Awesome. How much you saving every year? What do you own? What does your balance sheet look like? And I'm down to have that conversation with anybody out here in these YouTube streets or off of them. Like, that's my jam. I like those conversations. We're going to leave it at that. We'll be back next week with another bag talk. It's your boy, Reckless Ray Dinero. This is Future Financial Strategies. Do not forget to hit that like button. If you are on YouTube, on mobile, hit that hype. Also, don't forget to share the video because somebody else might need to hear this that's in your life, that's trying to inhibit your journey with their rhetoric and their metrics. Till next week, I'm out.
Money on my mind, yeah. Focus, got no time for games, nah. I don't play, man, I'm all about that financial literacy. Investing in my future, building generational wealth. Dollar bills, they be calling my name, but I ain't chasing fame, I'm chasing change. Learn the game, now I'm playing it smart. Putting my money to work, it's an art. I'm stacking paper, building my own empire. No more living check to check, I'm getting higher. Investing in stocks, real estate, and more. Gotta secure the bag, that's what I came for.